Hi folks, Pat Healy here from the Laker News. We are presenting our candidate interviews for Waverley-Fall River-Musquodoboit Valley. Incumbent Cathy Deagle Gammon, Chris Balcom, and Angela Dennison are vying to be the representative chosen in the October 19th HRM municipal election. We wanted to give residents a chance to ask questions to the candidates that may help in their decision-making process. We asked the community to submit the questions. We had a good response with some very good questions submitted that we narrowed down to the ones we're asking each of the three candidates. Thank you to Joanne Poulin of eXp Realty for sponsoring these video interviews. Now, let's go see what they have to say. I'm here with District 1 Waverley-Fall River-Musquodoboit Valley Council candidate Angela Dennison. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Pat. Thank you. So my name is Angela Dennison, and I grew up in Fall River, and now I'm living out here in beautiful Middle Musquodoboit. And I feel like I would represent the district well because I've kind of lived in all parts of it. We're here at Carroll's Corner Community Center, and I actually started school here when I was little. So kind of feels like a full circle moment for me at this point.
Awesome. What is your opinion on working towards a public transit rail system from rural communities to the downtown core, and would you support it?
Yes, I definitely would. For the last 20 years or so, I worked downtown, and I've been taking the bus faithfully twice a day, every day. And I can tell you that the transit system needs some help. And I definitely think that if we want to grow our communities, we need to make sure that we have safe, fast, efficient transit to all corners of the municipality.
What top 3 issues do you believe homeowners in District 1 want to have addressed within the next 4 years? How do you plan to address those and resolve those issues?
Ooh, that's a big question. I think probably for all property owners, property taxes is the number one issue. And unfortunately, they are a necessary evil and they're not going to go away. But I certainly think that we can do everything possible to keep them under control and keep them as low as humanly possible. I would have to say the second issue that I think most people have issues with would be the traffic. I have come in on the 102 and driven by the Fall River exit in the morning and seen it backed up all the way on the highway, as well as in the afternoon on the 118, the other direction. And traffic, especially in the Fall River Waverley area, is horrendous. And I can't imagine people who have to sit through that every single day. So definitely something that we need to look at and do something about. And I think that the transit plans will play a big role in that. If we can get some sort of rapid transit, I think that will help that issue a lot. The third issue would probably be, just let me think here. Maybe safety for families, like walking and cycling and recreation, those type of things. Having safe places that they can go, having fun things for people to do as families to get outside. Especially with the yards getting smaller and smaller, just because. So I think having safe places for people to go and spend time and forming that community is a big thing right at the moment. Ever since the pandemic, I think we've all kind of separated into our own little pods, and I think we're ready to start to come back together, and I think we need spaces to do that.
The Musquodoboit Valley once was a small community that flourished with businesses, farming, trades, etc. Lots of families are starting to move back. How will you, as a council candidate, help to draw in businesses to the community and maintain those residents?
It's funny that you say that people are moving back. My grandmother lived in Dutch settlement, and my mom actually graduated from Musquodoboit Rural High. And so me moving out here from Middle Sackville, which is where I was living, feels sort of like a full circle moment, if you will. And I think that one of the first things we need to do for businesses out here is get the high-speed internet. A lot of business is done online these days, advertising, purchasing online, and that is really difficult to do when you don't have high-speed internet. I know that after Hurricane Fiona, I was one of those lucky people that was without power for 10 days. And I can't imagine if I was a small business owner how that would affect me. So I think that is probably the number one issue, is to make it easy to do business with people that have businesses out here. I think the second thing we need is some more infrastructure. You know, we recently lost the bank here in Middle Musquodoboit, and that was a big hit to a lot of the small businesses because that's where they did their day-to-day banking. So I think we need to start thinking about more infrastructure out in this area, more facilities to improve and encourage businesses to set up out this way. So.
With the continued growth happening in Fall River West, how do you plan on alleviating the traffic congestion at the intersection of Fall River Road and Highway 2?
As I mentioned, that is a huge issue, and my heart goes out to those people who have to sit in that every single day, because it looks like a nightmare from those of us driving the other way. I think that transit is going to play a really big role in that. Right now, I feel that transit just isn't very efficient or convenient. And that means that a lot of people are taking their cars, and that means more traffic on the road, which just leads to more and more congestion. So I think that once we get some rapid rail and dedicated bus routes and make the schedule more prolific, if you will, I think that will help with some of that traffic congestion.
Considering the rapid growth in our district and HRM in general, it is imperative to ensure that infrastructure, transportation, hospitals, and schools are adequately developed to meet the increasing demands. If elected, what will you do to attempt to stay ahead of this ongoing problem?
Again, a really, really good question. It's a very large issue, and I have to confess, I'm not 100% sure how I would even begin to tackle that. I do know that property taxes, we want to keep them reasonable, but we need those property taxes in order to build infrastructure in the municipality. So I think we need to start looking at some other options. And I know that, you know, those P3 schools that we built years and years ago, kind of gave that 3 level of government partnership a bad name, but I do think that we have to look at things like that in order to build the infrastructure that we need in these areas, especially our district.
What is your plan for additional recreational facilities for Fall River, like a hockey rink or additional baseball fields?
Funny you asked that. So for many, many, many years, I worked with Events Nova Scotia. So we attracted major events to this province. Everything from the 2003 World Juniors up until the Aboriginal Games that were hosted last summer. I was privileged enough to work on those. So I know the need we have for these kind of facilities. Part of the problem, especially with hockey rinks, is the timing, right? They're very busy in the mornings before school, and they're very busy after school and in the evenings, and during the day they sit empty. So while I would like to see more built, I would like to see them built with purpose in mind. I would like to see them be expandable. I would like them to be able to be used for major events or even large-scale community events. I think we need to stop building things that are single use. I think that by making multi-use facilities, we get more use out of them and we can use them more days of the year. So not entirely sure how we're going to go about doing that, but I definitely think it's something we need to look at.
Okay. Is there any plan to bring more bus services to Fall River?
I sure hope so. I really do. I know that I have been hearing about rapid transit and using the CN rail lines and that sort of thing for years and years and years. And I understand that it's expensive. I really do. But it is the way of the future. We have to do something. We have to get off the reliance of vehicles. And I say that living out an hour outside the city. So I use my car for everything. I understand the convenience of having your vehicle with you when you go to work in the day and if you have to leave or if your child is sick or whatever. But if we had a transit system that operated throughout the day on a convenient schedule and there were a lot more options and you didn't have to change 3 and 4 buses, I think that is where we have to go in order to grow our community and our district. I really do.
Would you consider looking into the expansion of municipal water to more areas of Fall River?
Yes. I grew up in Fall River and I grew up on the lake. So we actually used to get our water right from the lake. And there were always issues. The buoy would break in the winter and the pipe would fall to the bottom. I remember my dad out there, hacking through the ice, trying to lift it back up just so we would have access to water. Water is a basic human right, and we really do need to make sure that everybody has it. I currently have a well, so I understand the frustration of even just having a well, and when the power goes out, you don't have water. And we need to look at expanding the municipal water supply. We really do.
What will be done to ensure the safety of residents who draw well water in Fall River Village? This is in regards to 2 developments, and who will monitor the groundwater?
Well, we have to monitor the water. I mean, like I said, safe, clean drinking water is a basic human right at this point. And I think that Halifax Water is the obvious choice of who is going to have to make sure that that is monitored and that there is no problem with the water. However, I am open to, staff reports and recommendations as well to look at different options. But just based on the little knowledge I have right now, I would say that Halifax Water is the one that's going to have to monitor that, and we're going to have to mandate that they do it.
Summarize why you should be the one residents vote for on October 19th.
That's a loaded question. Obviously, I think I'm the best candidate. As I mentioned in my intro, I started school here at Carroll's Corner. I grew up in Fall River and went to Ashley Jefferson and George P. Vanier. I didn't get to go to high school there because there was no high school when I was there. And now I live back out here in Middle Musquodoboit. My grandmother lived in Dutch settlement. I have family and hands all over this community, and I really do want to see this district grow and thrive. And so I hope that people will vote for me so that I have that opportunity to show them what I can do.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pat.
Thanks for watching our candidate interviews. We hope that the answers provide a better idea on where the candidates stand with regards to issues and concerns in the community. Municipal politics is the one level of government that has such an impact on our lives, so it's important to make sure you cast your vote. Advance online and telephone voting is from October 8th to 16th, while advance in-person voting is October 12th and October 15th. For more information, check out the HRM elections page. Thank you to Joanne Poulin of eXp Realty for sponsoring these video interviews. Pat Healy for the Laker News in Carroll's Corner.